Hi, my name is Jerald Simon, and I'm the president and founder of Music Motivation. And every week I come out with a brand new cool song. It's part of an annual subscription I created to help teach music theory the fun way. It's the original cool songs that I compose each week. So right now I'm going to play for you the 12 Fingered Jasmine. Kind of a funny title, but it's because of the 12-bar blues. So I created this 12-bar blues, and we're going to play it. We have a minus track that you can play along with, and then I'm going to explain a little about the theory. Let me know what you think as I play this. That is it. That is the cool song. And it's a fun piece for the students to play along to because we have the drums playing, we have the bass playing, we have the saxophone, a nice little jazz combo, and then the piano part is great because the first page and a half I wrote out the music exactly as I wanted the students to play it. But then, if you notice, starting in measure 24, the right hand is empty. There is nothing there. The left hand continues to play the pattern, and the pattern, it's a barrel house blues left hand pattern where we have a perfect fifth interval, in this case C and G, and then we go to the major sixth interval, C and A. Watch this. This is my perfect fifth interval from C to G. That's a perfect fifth interval. Now, the best way to think of a perfect fifth interval, if we think of the whole and half steps, you can think of when you have a major third interval, that would be two whole steps combined together. The major third is two whole steps combined together. So if we have a major third interval, the C and the E, that distance right there is going to help me because the next distance we're going to have a minor third. If you combine the two together, the distance between the two, that is the perfect fifth interval, C to G in this case. Now this is an harmonic interval where it's blocked. We play them together at the same time. Melodic intervals are where you break them apart, where you play like the pinky and then the thumb, or the thumb and the pinky. But we are doing the harmonic fifth interval where we play them together. And then we go to the major sixth interval. Again, this is harmonic. And that's it. We rotate back and forth between the fifth and the sixth interval. Watch this. Now I'm using the second finger, my pointer finger, on that G, that perfect fifth interval. And the reason why I do that is because your thumb will get very, very tired if you're going back and forth. Now when we're just doing the perfect fifth to the major sixth, it may not get as tired, but if you were going up to the minor seventh interval, then your thumb would be moving so much that you would almost want to do something to help stop the movement, because especially when we start doing some interesting left-hand patterns where we change the rhythms, if you only play the thumb, it's going to tire very, very quickly. If you use that second finger, it gives a little relief to the thumb. But that is all we are doing. The perfect fifth to the major sixth. Watch again. Starting in measure 3, the right hand is playing a C major sixth chord. Watch this. Now, whichever fingering is easier for you, go ahead and play it. You can play 1, 2, 3, 4 if that's easier. Many times I will use that fingering if I'm doing an octave chord where I put the pinky up on the C. But if not, then you can use 1, 2, 4, 5 as the fingering. Now, we're just playing the blocked chord. Again, this is a jazzy chord. It's the C major sixth chord. In measure 3, we play that, and we have kind of a syncopated rhythm where we have a dotted quarter note, and then we have the eighth note that is tied. The entire piece is to be played where we're swinging the eighth notes. But watch what happens in measure 5. We go up to the F major sixth chord. All it is, it's the basic triad. In this case, F major triad is FAC. When we put the sixth interval up on top of that, and of course this is the major sixth interval, which is why it's the major sixth chord, we have F to D is the major sixth interval. The F major triad, the three-note chord, is FAC. So put them all together, we have FACD. That's the F major sixth chord. And we go back to the C major sixth chord. And then in measure 9 we have the G major sixth chord. Now starting in measure 13, all I'm doing, I'm taking the C major sixth chord and I'm breaking it apart. I actually used an inversion. If you notice in the C major sixth chord we have 4 notes. That means we have 4 positions. When C is on the bottom, that is root position, C, E, G, A. If I put the C up on top, that becomes first inversion. That is E, G, A, C. If I put the E up on top, then that becomes second inversion. Now we have G, A, C, E. If I put the thumb up on top, that bottom note that my thumb is playing, that's the G. If I put the G up on top, then it becomes third inversion, A, C, E, G. Which, ironically or interestingly, is the A minor seventh chord. So you can see how the minor and the major are very, very common. They share those common notes. And it's fascinating because A minor seventh, of course, C major sixth, the 2. So you think of your tonic and then the minor, C and A. So it's very, very helpful to think in those terms. But all I'm doing, I took the C major sixth chord, first inversion, and then I broke it apart. And and then I changed the rhythm and played around with it. All I'm doing, I'm changing the rhythm, but I'm using those notes from the C major 6th chord. And then I start playing around with a G major triad. Now, if you want, whenever we see a grace note, sometimes in the classical world, we view it as a grace note, but then if we start playing jazz music, we think it's a grace note, and it's not a grace note, and it's not meant to be played like a grace note, because we have so many more dynamic articulations for how to play these notes. Whether we refer to them as crushed notes, or whether we refer to them as hammerings if we're doing a lot of country, or if we're doing a lot of bluesy, jazzy type pieces, you have to play them differently. If you're playing a classical piece, you need to play the classical piece like you would a classical piece. If I'm playing a classical piece, I'm very proper with my hand placement, the curve, characteristics of how you should play. But if you're playing a jazz piece, you can't play it like you would a classical piece, because then you sound like a classical musician pretending or trying to play a jazz piece, because it doesn't sound jazzy the way it should sound. So you can do one of two things. When we're doing this, you can either use the 2nd finger on that B flat and then play the 3rd finger on the B natural, which is nice, but that's more classical by nature. It doesn't have quite the jazzy, bluesy impact and punch that we're going for. So the other way, if you take the 3rd finger, just slide it down, almost like we're doing a hammering. Hammering was actually created to have the piano mimic what the guitar is doing. On the guitar, you get a beautiful sound when you're sliding up the neck. You're getting a wonderful sound that you can't really mimic any other way. On the piano, you kind of need to hit some keys and kind of slide a bit. It changes the way it feels and the way it sounds. But you can't play it the way you typically would play a very classically charged piece. So what I want you to try and do, take your 3rd finger and just slide it down. So you just hit the B flat and then you hit the B natural, and you're just sliding. It's one quick, swift motion where you slide down. And then starting in measure 24, there is no right hand. And that is fantastic, because it's all about jazz improv. This piece is trying to get you to take control of the piece, have it become yours, arrange it, do something fun with it. Take the patterns that you see starting in measure 13, play around with them, change them, and then create something of your own. If you take a C major 6th chord, you can take the notes and break them apart. You can also do a few different scales. Blues scales are perfect for doing this. We're going to stick with, since we're using the 6th, we're going to stick with the major blues scale. There's a minor blues scale, which is just known as the blues scale, and there's a major blues scale. So we're going to do the major blues scale. If you play the C major 6th chord in 1st inversion, you have most of the notes from the major blues scale. Watch this. E, G, A, C. That is my C major 6th chord 1st inversion. Now, all I'm going to do is play C, D, and then E flat. That is it. Now if we break those notes apart, we get the major blues scale. And the major blues scale is technically just a variation or inversion of the minor blues scale, and I'll show you that in a second. Let me play the C major blues scale. Well, that is a variation or inversion of the A minor blues scale. Remember how the major and the minor are closely related and they go kind of hand in hand? Well, the A minor blues scale does this. So we have A, C, D, E flat, E natural, and then the G and the A. That is the A minor blues scale. But what I'm going to do, instead of starting on A, I'm going to play the exact same notes, but I will start on C. It magically becomes the C major blues scale. Watch this. So we're going to take the major blues scale and just play around with it. Improvise. Try to take the first 3 notes and see if you can create something fun of your own. Watch this. Now, what if I took the next notes, those 4 remaining notes, and what if I just broke them apart and played around? Try this. Now, try to create something of your own similar to this. Watch this and try it. Have fun with this cool song. I think you'll enjoy it. It's really a fun pattern, and all we're doing, we're taking the intervals with the left hand, again, that barrel house blues pattern, where we have the perfect fifth and then the major sixth intervals, and with the right hand, we're just improvising. We are taking the C major sixth chord, and we're taking the C major blues scale, and we're breaking them apart and playing around with the rhythms, playing around with the order of the notes, and it is fun. So have fun playing the 12 Fingered Jasmine. Kind of an interesting piece, but I think you'll have a really great time playing it. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. You can send me an email at Jerald Simon, JeraldSimon, at musicmotivation.com. I would love to hear from you and find out how things are going, or if you have any questions or need help with anything, please feel free to send me an email. I would also love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Jerald Simon. I'd love to have you like this video. You can share it with family and friends who may be interested in learning the 12-bar blues chord progression as well. But also, I'd love to have you watch all of my other weekly cool songs I come out with, and I have many other YouTube videos that I'd love to have you check out. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions or ideas on a cool song you would like to have me compose, or a theory concept you would like me to present and teach, please feel free to send me a message and let me know. Again, that is Jerald Simon, JeraldSimon at musicmotivation.com. I'd love to hear from you. Work on this, and then have fun creating something cool of your own. Have a great week. See ya.